Hello everyone and welcome to Boy Academy. In this tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to create a professional looking pricing page using Elementor. We'll have a monthly and annual toggle in which whenever we click on the annual, we change the prices and we can go back to monthly and we change the prices again. With this approach, you can not only change the information within the packages, but you can also change the styling of each of these items whenever you switch from monthly to the annual toggle. All of this will be done by using Elementor free version. So, what are you waiting for? Let's go ahead and crash this. Okay, so before we get started, let us take a look at how we can split this into three different sections. So the first one will be the general information section, which is this one, and then the second section will be the toggle button, and the third one will be the packages. So let us go ahead and create the first section. For this one, we'll be needing a heading element and also an icon list element for creating all the elements that are included in these packages. So let us go ahead and create a new section, which will be a single column, and then drag the elements heading and also the icon list. Let us change the heading to choose the plan that's right for you and apply some styling to it. So basically, let's change the color to white, center the content, and also add some letter spacing to the title. Okay, that looks better. And now let's go to the icon list element. Let's remove the second and third element because we will be styling the first one and then duplicate it so that we can just change the text. So let's click on it and change the text to change or cancel your plan at any time. Let's apply some styling to it. So let's change the icon color to red. Okay, that looks better. And then change the text color to white. Okay, let us apply some letter spacing to it. And that looks better. Okay, so now we can just duplicate this element and we will only be changing the text inside of it. Let us center this element by applying some margin to it. We can change the margin to percentage and then unlink all the values and apply in the left margin 30%. That looks way better. So now let's go ahead and create first the packages and later on we will continue with the toggle button. So what we will be doing is that we will create one of these columns first and then duplicate them so that we can just change the information and not style each of these columns. So let's go ahead and do that. What we need for this one is a new section with 4 different columns. In the first column, we will be using a heading for the name of the package, another one for the price. We need a divider element, and then another heading for the top features headline, and lastly, we need an icon list. As we said, we'll be styling these ones and then duplicate the column so that we just change the information that is inside of them. So let's go ahead and create the first one. So let's click on the heading. This will be the package name, which is basic. Here we have the price, $9.99 per month. Then we have the divider, we have top features that the package includes, and then, just as previously did, let's remove the second and third element and then we will have to style only one of these elements and duplicate them. So this one will be all introductory courses. Okay, so now let's go ahead and style this one. First of all, let's center this one, set the color to white. Let's apply some typography. So transform, uppercase, and for this one, the font that we will be using is Samer1. And now let's go ahead and style the price. So for this one, we'll be setting a similar to white, but more in grayish color. All we need to do is center this one, and then we're good to go. Maybe let's remove the $sign in front of the price. Just like that. And then add a slash. Okay. Now let's style the divider. For this one, we just need to set the color to white and then apply a width of 1.8. Okay, that's better. And now styling the top features. Again, the color is white. Let's maybe reduce the size of it by going to typography. And then we have size. Let's leave this as 18. Okay, that's better. And lastly, let's style the list item. So let's copy the red color that we used for the icons in the first list and apply the same color for these ones as well. Let's set the text color to white and also add some typography by setting the line height to 1.7, and also let's add letter spacing of 1.2. Let's take a look, and this looks better. Okay, so now we can just duplicate this item and change the text inside each of them. Okay, so there seems to be a problem with the line height. Let me check that. Let's go to typography, line. Okay, so this needs to be EM and not pixel. So in EM we have 1.7, and now this looks better. So what we also need to change is the background color for this column. So to do that, we can just click on the column, go to styling, and apply some classic background. Change the color to dark gray, and then apply some border radius to it. So let's set this to 15 pixel. Let's take a look. Way better. Before we duplicate this, we also need to add some margin to the left and right of this column so that we have some spacing between them. So in order to do that, we will just unlink this one, change the margin to percentage, and then set right 3 and left 3. What we also need to add is the sign up button, which we can do by getting the button element, add it to the end, center it, change the text to sign up, and then apply some styling to it. So the button color should be white and the text color should be black. And now this looks better. In case you want to make this a round button, you can go ahead and change the border radius. And now this is a round button. Okay, so now let us just duplicate this column, and then we can just change the information inside of it. So to do that, we will be removing these columns and then duplicate the one that we just created. If we take a look, all these packages now look nice and clean. All we need to do is change the information inside each of them. And with that, we should be done with the packages. We just need to modify the last package so that we recommend this one to the users. And to do that, we will apply this red color that we are using for the icon and apply that as a background for the last column. So basically for this one, let's go to styling and then click the background color, set it to this dark red. Okay, and that looks way better. So what we can also do is that we can add a logo to it so that we can show that this package is the one that is recommended to the user. In order to do that, we can create a new heading above the exclusive title. Let's go ahead and take that, change this to recommended, apply some styling to it. And in order to have this on top of this package, we can go to the advanced layout, set the position to absolute, and then move it so that it is on top of the package. Let's maybe change the font size of it a bit and reduce it. Okay, that's better. And then we can also set some margin on the right and left sides by setting this to percentage. Okay, let's set this to 25 and also 25 on the left as well. And now we can just put this on top by moving the vertical offset to, let's go for -13 or -10 pixels. And that's better. So now what is left is the toggle button. Let's go ahead and create that. Let us close this section and let's create a new one. In order not to mix this up, we can double click on each section and change the name to information. The second one is the packages and the third one will be the toggle button. The toggle button section needs to be between the information and packages section. So for this one, we will need the HTML element. Let's go ahead and take that, drag it to the section, and then we'll be styling this with some simple CSS, HTML, and JavaScript code. So let us first create the HTML that we need for this one. And in our case, we'll need a div element. Okay. We'll set the ID name of it to toggle switch. Inside of this one, we'll have another div where we will set the name to monthly. And for this one, we'll set the ID to monthly and the class to toggle and toggle active. And now let us just copy paste this one and create another one with the ID annual and the text inside of it to annual. And that is all the HTML that you need for this subsection. And now let us go ahead and style it. To do that, before the div, we'll create the style tag. And now let us go ahead and style the toggle switch. So for this one, let's start with the toggle switch element, in which we will apply a background color gray. We need display flex. We need a max width of 400 pixel, margin of 10 pixel auto. We need a border radius of 100 pixels. The font, we can set it to Plato sans serif, and make sure to set this to important so that we make sure that this one applies. And then for this one, we need a font size of 16 pixels, padding of 5 pixels, and also a margin button of 20 pixels. And with that, we should be done with the toggle switch. Okay, so there should be something that I'm missing. Let me check. And yeah, so in the toggle, this should be all together toggle switch, and then the styling is now applied to it. And now let us continue with the toggle. For that one, we have the toggle class in which we need to apply the following styles. So let us set the padding to 10 pixel and 20 pixel. That looks better. We have a border radius 100 pixels, and then set the cursor to pointer. Let's set flags grow to 1, and then we set the font weight to bold. We have text align center, and now we have the color of the text to black. We're getting closer, and now let us change the styling for toggle when the toggle is active. For this one, we will need the background color to the red one that we are using for the columns in here. So let us go ahead and copy this one again. We also need to set the color to white. Okay, since we just copy pasted these elements, we need to remove the toggle active for the second element. And now this looks better. And we also need to add the border radius to 100 pixels. And with that, what is left to be done is that we only need to create the elements that will be changing when we create the annual element, so that we can change them whenever we switch the toggle. For that, we will need in each of these columns to duplicate the price, so that this one will become $8.99. And now, in order to hide these elements for the annual subscription, whenever the annual subscription is not active, we need to set the class name for each of these elements to monthly, if they belong to the monthly price, and annual, that should be the class name and not the ID. So let me just cut that from there and paste it to the class name. And then we can set the class name as annual for the annual prices. And let's do the same for each of these. And now we can go back to the HTML element that we had before and apply the styling to the annual elements and set the display to none. All we need to do is create two simple JavaScript functions that when we click on the toggle button, it will switch the prices. And this can be applied to any information that you want to change in each of these packages. So let's go ahead and start. Let's create the script tags in which we will write our JavaScript codes. First of all, let us get all the monthly elements by using the document.get elements by class name and use the name monthly that we set in each of the heading elements. Let us copy this one and do the same for the annual elements as well. So in this one, we will have annual elements and the annual class. Now let's take the switch buttons for which we set the ID as monthly and annual. This will be the var annual toggle, and we can get that by document.get element by ID and use the annual ID name that we set before in the div above. And now let's do the same for the monthly div as well. Now we have access to the annual and monthly toggle buttons and also to all monthly and annual elements. The monthly elements are the prices that we are currently showing, and the annual elements are the elements that we hid in the HTML before. Basically, what we need to do now is create two functions that when we click on the annual toggle button, which is this one, we will hide the monthly elements and display the annual ones. And when we click on the monthly toggle button, we will hide all the annual elements and then display all the monthly ones. So to do that, we can create the function switch to monthly. So what this function will do is that it will hide all the annual elements and then show the monthly ones. And in order to do that, we will go through all the elements, and for that we can use the array.prototype, and then for each elements we can call the monthly, and then we have the function which takes element, and for each of these elements we can set element style that display equal to block. And then we will do the same for the annual elements, but in this case we will set the display to none because we need to hide them. And now we can copy paste this function and change the name switch to annual, and in this case we will be hiding all the monthly elements. We need to change this to annual, same here as well. We can change this to display none, and for the annual elements we need to change this to display block. And now in order to assign these functions to the toggle buttons, we can go ahead and on window on load we can apply the function to the annual toggle. We will add an event listener, and that will be whenever we click on it, we'll apply the switch to annual function. And in the same way for the monthly toggle, we'll apply the function switch to monthly. Okay, so there is a typo in here, so we need to have this get elements by class name, and the same for this one as well. And also in the annual toggle add event listener, there was a typo in the listener as well. So we need to remove that and fix it. And with that, the functionality of this page should be done. So let us go ahead and check it. So we can click on preview changes. And now in order to test this, we can see that whenever we click on the annual button, the prices change. What is left to be done is that we also need to switch this active class whenever we click on the annual button, and then switch it back to the monthly one whenever we click on it. In order to do that, we can go ahead and when we call the switch to monthly function, what we can do, we can take the monthly toggle element, and from the class list we can remove the toggle-active class. Actually, we need to add this one for the monthly toggle and now remove it from the annual toggle. While when we switch to the annual one, we need to add this to the annual toggle and remove it from the monthly toggle. Let us go ahead and check this. Okay, page is loaded and we're done. So whenever we click on the annual button, the annual gets active, the prices change, and whenever we click on the monthly button, the monthly button gets active and the prices change again. With this approach, you can change any information that you would like to change within these packages or even their styling. And that would be it. Thank you for watching, and if you like this video, leave a like and subscribe for more.